everyone. So today I have a very special guest here with me.
Hey.
This is Peter. He is a final year mathematician from Teddy Hall, and he is also my boyfriend.
Also.
We thought that today what we do is a sort of maths versus law showdown, fight to the death. So we've got some questions. Where are the questions? We've got some questions here about things to do with how our courses compare, and we're going to sort of answer it Mr. and Mrs. style. So we have maths and law, little piece of paper, and we're going to see how it goes in the maths versus law showdown. I'm going to do a really cool graphic there with like an eagle. So, the first question is, who do you think has the most work? Go! Lawyers. Yeah, I agree.
Kind of got different types of work, but
Yeah.
I think you guys, just the amount of reading you have to do is way more than what I do in a week.
The thing with law is that they give you mammoth reading lists that they know you're never going to be able to complete. So I think the reason that a lot of lawyers get quite stressed out is because there's always a feeling that you could have done more work. Whereas with maths, there's, I think, more like definitive endpoints.
Yeah, but with maths, sort of like the difficulty with the work isn't so much reaching the end, it's like knowing when to stop if you get stuck, because otherwise you can just sink like hours into a question not getting anywhere, when really you should just give up and deal with it in a class or two when someone's there to help you.
We don't have the option of giving up on questions though.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
Okay, the next question is slightly different. Who do you think has more fun? 3. Yeah.
I think mathematicians at the moment. Like lawyers at the moment, because it's kind of approaching finals, you're all going a bit like work crazy.
Yeah. I think there are points when lawyers do have more fun. I think...
But yeah, definitely. It comes down to like, that's quite a more like person by person question.
Yeah. But after mods, we do have the summer term when we don't have to work and everyone else does.
That's true. I'm
That's
so
the highlight.
jealous.
And we also don't have exams in second year.
Yeah, we
So
have
I think-
exams every year. So
I
our
think maybe
trinities
second
are
year is more fun for us.
Our trinities are a bit devoid of fun.
Yeah, whereas I've never had exams in Trinity.
Mhm.
But now it's getting to finals and we haven't had sort of exams every year to sort of take some of the pressure off.
Yeah, so I think
It's-
I've got like 50 or 60% of mine counts on these exams, whereas you guys is like the whole 3 years.
Yeah. Although the other thing is LawSoc, the Law Society, is incredibly fun. And it's sponsored by lots of rich lawyers who give us
Yeah,
all free
that's true.
cocktails and things, so that's an important factor to take into account. Okay, so next question.
Next question.
Who is more likely to get a first?
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
I mean, math. It's a lot more clear cut with maths. I mean, it's either right or wrong usually. So in terms of actually achieving a first, it's a lot easier than law, which I think is a lot more subjective.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. So I think there's a certain attitude in law that a first is something that should really only be given to the very top people.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true for all subjects, obviously, but I think in maths it's easier to decide who are the very top people because it's who gets a certain amount of questions objectively
the
right.
Marks, pretty
Yeah. Who do you think is cooler? Like, is in general, which group of people has the better rep? 3. Oh.
How predictable. I don't know. I think like mathematicians, yeah, we've got the kind of like the classic mathematician stereotype of being like super introverted and not particularly cool if you want to go down that route. But like, you kind of get a bit of respect because quite a lot of people struggle with maths at school and they're like, oh my god, you're volunteering to put yourself through 3 years of that? And it's like, yeah, I am and I can do it. And they're like, wow, you're cool.
I don't think that's how any conversation would go.
I mean, like, that's how it goes in my head.
Okay, so next question. Which course do you think is more varied? Okay?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. I would say that was pretty
Really?
predictable.
I mean, like, I guess you guys cover a lot of subject material, but it's very compulsory, so that you don't get much choice until later on, whereas mathematicians, it's very varied, but then you get choice from, like, halfway through second year. You completely choose everything, so you can pick what you enjoy, and it's varied in that sense.
But at the end of the day, it is all still maths, isn't it?
I mean, like that. Yeah.
Whereas
You got me. Shit.
Whereas we do essays which are about like the technical aspects of law, and then we do like more philosophical stuff as well. We do essays about policy.
You have no understanding of how maths works, do you?
Maybe that should have been a disclaimer for this video.
I mean, like, yeah, it's maths, but we cover lots of it.
Lots of different types.
Yeah,
so maybe they're
loads of
both quite
different-
varied. And I do have to agree that you get more choice, and I think that's a really
Yeah.
important and really good aspect of the maths course that the law course maybe doesn't have so much. Okay, so the next question is, which course do you think had a harder application process?
Well,
Hells yeah.
yeah, definitely law. With maths, you've got to do the maths admissions test, but once you've done that, that's most of what they base whether they let you in on, I think, if I remember back to admissions rightly and all the research I did around then. So you do have interviews, but it's sort of like the interviews are just to check, can you work in a tutorial type environment? They already kind of know whether you've done well enough to kind of like get in. They're just checking that they can actually work with you.
Whereas I think with law, as we've said, in loads of other aspects of it, it's more subjective. So
Yeah.
although we do the LNAT, and that's got a sort of really factual basis, and there are right answers, there's also an essay element to that, where there are no right answers, and then I think interviews play a massive part in it. Okay, so this is actually the final general question, and it is, who do you think gets a better schedule? 3, 2, 1. Oh, come on.
You have a day with 5 hours of lectures back to back.
You have had lectures from 9 till 11 every day since first year.
Yeah, but I have so with maths usually you have like 10 lectures a week, and it often works out that you have about 2 a day, which is quite manageable. Whereas you guys, you seem to have lectures every day, but also have these hellish days where it's just like 9 till 5 p.m. or well, not quite that bad, but like just really grim. And also some of your lectures are 2 hours on the same topic, and I think there's only one maths topic that's ever done that.
Okay, yeah.
So-
Okay, I would agree that in terms of lectures, the scheduling isn't so great.
Mhm.
And I think it's probably to do with personal preference, where I have very few contact hours, really. Most of what I do is independent study, and I like it that way.
I think we have a similar number of contact hours with tutors a week. It's usually about an hour or an hour and a half per problem sheet, and that works out because they kind of like spread them out. It's like 3 to 4 hours a week, maybe, contact.
So those are all the general questions. The next thing we're going to talk about is more personal experience-based ones. So about how we personally have dealt with our degrees. So the first question is, who has had the most work crises? Which we'll define as like staying up late, not getting enough sleep, or having to spend like a really intense day working to meet a deadline.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
It's definitely me. I think it comes back to the whole like knowing when to stop thing. So I think quite a lot of Oxford students or at least through school, have developed a fairly kind of perfectionist approach to their work, where they like to have everything like absolutely perfect. And then when you get here, suddenly you can't do that. It's just not possible, but you still try. And you feel really bad when you don't get something, and that just gets you into this horrible spiral where it's like 2 a.m. and you've got that one question that you can't quite do, and you're still trying to do it, even though you should just go to bed and go to sleep. So yeah, I've definitely had a lot more work crises. Also, my deadlines tend to be in the mornings for some reason, whereas yours tend to be the tute itself.
Yeah.
So you can kind of once you've planned an essay, you can write it in about 2 hours, whereas for me, a problem sheet can take they vary so much, it's impossible to predict.
Yeah. So you should start working on it before.
I mean, yeah, the
That
day
night.
before.
So this question's probably going to be quite an obvious one.
If you know Ellie at all.
Who do you think has enjoyed their degree more? 3, 2, 1. Oh! I got it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I picked a subject that I've actually enjoyed. I didn't enjoy the first year as much, but having started to get a bit more choice and going for more kind of applied mathsy stuff, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Cool.
Yeah.
What
do you think about law, Ellie?
I'm enjoying my law course now. I really like being able to choose more philosophical stuff, as I've said in a lot of previous videos. But I think overall, I haven't. Again, as I've said in previous videos, that is very much just about me personally.
Yeah.
Loads of lawyers love it. In fact, I would say 90% really enjoy it. So.
I mean, mathematicians too. Some people enjoy the pure stuff. Quite a lot of people enjoy the pure stuff, but no, it's not for me.
I don't even know what that means. Like, how can you have dirty maths?
So, like applied is kind of like statistics, differential equations. They're things that you can actually think of in a real life context quite a lot of the time.
So you can say like, Stephen has 5 apples in one hand, 6 apples in the other hand.
Let's go. That's applied maths. We'll put it in the applied category. Yeah. Whereas like pure maths is the really abstract stuff.
Like triangles. Oh wait, triangles happen in real life.
Triangles in multiple dimensions. Let's go with that.
So we have one final question, and we don't need our little pieces of paper for this one. So the question is, I'll ask you first. If you could go back, what would you apply for?
I think I'd apply for maths and computer science, because I've really enjoyed the programming side of the maths course, but that only comes in with some like much later modules, and I think I would have enjoyed the computer stuff more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still very much mathsy.
Yeah, I would still go down a maths route, but I'd try and get a bit more coding in there.
Cool.
Instead of just maths. If you could go back, what would you apply for?
I actually think I would apply for experimental psychology.
Yeah, very law related.
Yeah, so I guess if we use that as a sort of general summary of our experiences of our degree, that should say it all.
Do maths.
So I think that's actually it for this video. Thank you very much, Peter, for joining me. And if anyone has any questions about law or maths, as always, leave them in the comments down below. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.